like find gold everywhere. Now you have a huge gold rush, right? And you massively can inflate the price of gold and so forth. And that is something that we can talk about, say, Bitcoin, the better version of gold, right? So again, gold holds its value well because you don't have to trust anyone to manage it well. And if you give that trust to someone, inevitably someone somewhere along the line comes around who is now placed in charge of managing your money supply, and they kind of screw it up, right? And so like we can see that happen every single time with every single fiat currency that's existed. It might be happening with the US dollar now, right? Our debt is actually pretty high, right? Like once you exceed a certain debt ratio to GDP, right, there's a point of no return, right? Because you've gotten to a point where just paying your interest rates, right, is like unsustainable. And so maybe we're there, maybe we're not, right? It's hard to tell. And when it happens, it'll happen really quickly, right? So you better hope you get it right. But you don't have to worry about that when you do gold or Bitcoin, right? Because what you know is, sure, okay, so it does scarcity, just like Bitcoin, or gold, but it actually does it better, right? Because the production of gold, or Bitcoin over time is actually perfectly known, and it's actually future-proof, right? Because the Bitcoin algorithm can dynamically adjust to the difficulty of mining, right? So when people invented ASICs, for gold that would be like a game killer, right? Like ASICs now allow you to mine Bitcoin infinitely better than you could with GPUs or CPUs, right? Except Bitcoin did just fine, right? The production actually stayed super constant over time. I wish I had that graph. But if you actually look at this, Bitcoin's graph is just like a straight line all the way up with the halvenings at each time, right? Perfectly planned, extremely predictable over time, right? And so that's actually good because you can actually plan for exactly what that growth will be like over time. And imagine if it actually does become global currency, you're going to have something where you can actually really easily predict by measuring, say, the economic growth over time of the global economy, how much gold, Bitcoin's price based on fundamental means should actually go up, right? It's also decentralized, so no central party do you need to trust to maintain your value well, and also you never have to trust that anyway, decentralization, it's all good, trustlessness, intrinsic value, touch on all those things. In math, we trust, whatever. Let's see. Transparent production schedule, yep. Globally, digitally transactable. So this is a huge point of the Bitcoin white paper. So it was actually meant to be a good transaction system, right? And so not only do you have to store your value well, but let's see, like, why would you use Bitcoin over gold, right? And you would use Bitcoin because you can't really pay for things in gold, right? It's an excellent store value, but it's a horrible transactional system, right? You'd have to physically be present with someone and then carry a pound of gold with you and shave off small amounts, right, for paying for your cup of coffee or something like that. No one literally uses it, right, for a transactional daily basis kind of use case. But totally different from Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin 1 is infinitely digitally transferable to anyone in the world into extremely small points, right, decimal points, such that you can transfer any single amount of money incredibly well, from a cup of coffee to a car. You can do all that, right? It's pretty unbreakable. Maybe it's unbreakable, but today it hasn't been and probably won't be for a while. And that's because you can actually trust that there's a very very transparent mathematical one-way function, right? That as long as someone doesn't break that, then you're fine, right? No one has. It's also irrevocable and immutable, right? And so certainly there's a downside of this, right? Which is that someone steals your money, it's gone, right? Or you send money to someone, they don't deliver on service, it's gone. But it's also a benefit, right? So I would say that that's actually a feature, not a bug, right? And you can actually build revocable systems on top of this immutable system, right? And that's fine. And that's how escrow works, right? You can have a smart contract that does escrow, right? All those things. And so that's a picture. Anyway, so it's also an apocalypse insurance plan, which is nice, right? And so apocalypses don't happen often, but when they happen, you would like to be on the right. You would like to have an insurance plan in place, right? And so this is the value of gold over time, and it's something where you can argue, sure, it's not relevant to a lot of people, but actually it is super relevant right now, right? You can say, oh, we're in the US, we don't have to worry about it. But what if you're born in Venezuela, right? Or even Zimbabwe, those are real people, right? And they would like to actually, not have this happen. And a lot of the world is not as stable as we are here. This is why China, for example, right, is so behind crypto so much more than we are, because they fundamentally understand that you're trusting this party that has this authoritarian bent, right? They can do anything they want, right? They can impose capital controls, they can peg the yuan to an artificial rate. They can do whatever they care about. And if you're born in China, which more people are than anywhere else in the world, you're kind of privy to a system unless you have something that you can trust that's better, right? And so Bitcoin for the first time really allows you to have that system anywhere in the world. And it's say, the Holocaust is a real thing that happened, right? And so in cases like that, right, they don't happen often, but they do happen often enough for you to really actually want to prepare for them. And in that case, right, how do you store your money? if your whole government is against you, you need to fundamentally be able to control your own currency, right? At least to some extent, right? So maybe don't put all your money into crypto, but put, let's say, 10%, right? And in case an apocalypse happens, what you do is like, you can even store it with a brain wallet, right? So like, gold, at least, like someone can search you and confiscate it. They literally cannot confiscate Bitcoin, right? There are ways that you can actually just have a brain wallet and you store a mnemonic seed, right, in your brain. That's it. And that's actually money, right? And so, yeah, the future is smart contracts and disintermediation, right? A lot of things that you can do. Last slide here. And ultimately, I don't actually know what this means, but it is smart. So basically, money now, for the first time, is not just a store of value or a transactional system. There are a lot of things that you can build on top of this, right? And so smart contracts is one. So the fundamental premise of this whole crypto world, right, has been this idea of abstracting away the need to trust, right? Abstracting away the idea that you need a trusted third party to control your money, to control your legal system, to control anything else, right? So with money, right, it's like you have to trust the federal bank, right? And sure, there are some that are better than others, but like all of them fail over time. In this case, you don't have to do that, but you can even do this for even more exciting things in the future, right? So same thing, like you said, right, Steve, something like if you have two parties, right, and you're like, say you have some agreement over $100, right, and like they take the money and they run away. It's like crap. Like now, what do? Right? You have to go through a whole justice system, right, which is this trusted third party that can adjudicate for you, right, that can arbitrate this matter. And like that's not worth it for $100 because there's so much overhead involved with having these third parties, right? The overhead exists for central banks. It exists for the justice system. In this case, this is actually the most efficient system if it gets off the ground, right? Where you can have a smart contract that has basically close to no cost, right, to adjudicate this thing. Or say you have a bet with a friend, it's like, oh, will Donald Trump still be president in 2017, right? And 2017 ends, and you're like, all right, was he president? And like normally in the bet, right, if your friend was just like, forget it, I'm not gonna pay you, right, if he was wrong, then you're screwed, right? But in this case, right, what you can do is actually have a smart contract, which is this trustless, like a way to be like, all right, we don't have to trust each other. I don't have to trust your right person because in that case, you're not going to go to court over $100, right? What you can do here is you both put, your $100 into the smart contract, which is an escrow system, and then afterwards, right, like what happens is it adjudicates who's right, and the money automatically goes to that person, right? No need to trust the other party. So that's pretty good. And ultimately, disintermediation, right? You're taking away the middleman, and you're replacing the need to trust middlemen again with the need to trust transparent mathematical formula or algorithm and so forth. So lots of outputs. That's all I have to say.
Wow. One moment here. So since you were so wonderful as to be under the time, maybe anybody have a question? Please.
What is that a comment, like if you go to the last slide, the one right before this one, like crypto's not going to stop. I mean, it's really not going to protect us from that, right? I mean,
it's not going to protect you from the apocalypse. Well, make sure you have money.
The world, crypto's not going to. I mean, yeah, it's just a funny observation.
Absolutely. Yeah. The whole world is gone.
Let's any brand newcomer. Are you somewhat of a newcomer?
So let's say I took out a 30-year mortgage denominated in Bitcoin.
Yes, here's a question. Yes, I'll rephrase that question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that you're getting a mortgage today.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want it denominated in Ether or Bitcoin or the dollar?
I would actually choose Spacecoin, which you guys should look into.
That wasn't what you were asking.
Absolutely,
Okay, just a second. What was the coin? What did you?
Basecoin. It's not public yet, but you guys should definitely take a look. It basically tries to solve the problems of deflationary currency, right? With a central bank that's like a smart contract, right?
Okay, well, all right, great.
But yeah. US dollars are good now, but they may not be good in the future, right?
Guys, I think that we have another presentation here. Let's thank Ben again. So we kind of it's a little bit longer presentation, but so we're very grateful to have Gabadine. Is that close?
Yeah.
Great. Please.